What's up guys, welcome to the new market outlook for the upcoming week. As always, economic calendar first and foremost. On Monday, Tuesday we don't have any news. On Wednesday we have the FOMC statement, which is the big three red folder news. And what does that mean? That means that Tuesday is the day prior those news, and we need to be careful when trading on Tuesday and as well on a Wednesday, because New York session is prior the news. On Thursday we also have the red folder news, but we are free to trade because there are not the big three red folder such as CPI, FOMC and the other. But on Friday as well, no news. We are using the equities open as the volatility. I personally won't be trading on Friday because of the holiday. Let's start with the crypto stuff first. With BTC, we finally draw into the monthly breakaway gap. We just wicked a little into that. But if we zoom out to the 3-month chart, there is a case scenario. If this monthly breakaway gap fails, we can eventually go towards the almost 100k mark. I think it's 97.8k. So if this monthly fails, this is the last line of defense, or we are going to the new all-time high if this fails. But firstly, for this scenario to go that much high towards this swing high, we will need to flip this monthly. Right now we just filled a little into that. I'm expecting to fill this week overlapping array at 80.6k. On the weekly time frame, what we can see is that we are sweeping the previous week high. We are still bullish, in still bullish trend, weekly breakaway gap below, and there is no signs of bearish stuff going around right there. As well on the daily time frame, once we wicked into that monthly, it's so small and it's not like comfy, and we didn't have any sharp turns going into that monthly and then sharp turn towards the lower side. So I'm expecting for price to be around this level for some time. Maybe the scenario sell in May and go away will play out nicely, because the May is upcoming month, so we'll see how that goes. What about Ethereum? Ethereum is mostly chopping, like you can see. Monthly didn't draw into that bag. Weekly as well is not running the previous week high. It's in range between the previous week high and previous week low. I'm not even looking at it because BTC is king and I don't trade Ethereum. We will go over the hype because it's the strongest asset right now. So the stuff that we have here is that monthly is sweeping the previous month high right here. We can see the rejection, and the monthly close is coming in 5 days, which is really important. But if we zoom in on the weekly time frame, we can see that we are in a clear trend, bullish continuation, weekly FEG pushing to the external range liquidity, which happened. We got a sweep right here, but we created another FEG context from one FEG, which is the chain FEGs, which is a high probability context. And from here we have the new context to move to the upper side. So if we're going higher, we need to go higher from here. Also, we are sweeping the previous week low. But this week is really huge. What does that tell me? That tells me that on the lower time frames, most likely we will have the trapped order flow. And that's exactly what we are seeing on the daily right now. We have this FEG right here, and we are basically trapped between two levels, so between weekly FEG and this daily FEG right here. So the price is in cage basically. It won't go anywhere until one side fails. So in order for us to be bullish, what we need to see is this daily get disrespected, and that will be once we disrespect these equal highs, because they are the rejection highs in that FEG, because they fill the FEG, and if you get the candle closure above those highs next week, this daily FEG will most likely be disrespected and the price will be free to move towards the previous week high. So that's what I'm expecting and looking for. Let's go over indices. They are insane. So on the monthly, they're just running the all-time highs, basically running like crazy. On a weekly time frame, what do we have here is that we are running the previous week high on both assets, which means that the next candle is expected to be continuation to the upper side. As well, we have created the breakaway gaps. Same reasoning because of the previous week high run, so we shouldn't get feel of these gaps. Daily is also in a crazy bullish momentum, bullish order flow, and this is where my model thrives, because it thrives in bullish, and it's not just bullish, it's in bullish or bearish trend conditions. It doesn't like this chop, it likes these V-shape reversals. So yeah, we're running the previous day high as well, and previous week high, so the next candle is expected to be continuation to the upper side, to the new all-time highs basically. Let's see what's the gold and silver doing. Silver was much weaker, but it's gaining the strength right now versus the gold. So monthly is still in push context to the new all-time highs, but not much action going on this month. On the weekly, on gold, we are still trapped within the monthly breakaway gap and weekly FEG, because we didn't have any disrespect of these rejection highs. So we are still trapped within two levels, basically in a cage. While the silver is disrespected, this FEG got disrespected with this candle, but we didn't have much action going on. It's the same, like on the daily time frame we are also in a range kinda. So the next thing that can happen is that we sweep the previous day low like we are doing right now, and this is the potential area to move higher from. If this movement fails from previous day low, we can eventually go towards the previous week low and sweep that low in order to continue higher. That's the last line of defense for the bullish scenario. But so far, on the 4-hour time frame, if we zoom in, we can see that the order flow is shifting from the previous day low sweep. So we also created the breakaway gaps, like you can see that we filled. So the price will be free to move towards the previous day high actually. That's what I'm gonna be looking at. This is looking really clean to draw inside the previous day highs. Maybe wait for the 15-minute to confirm the idea if you're an intraday trader. And lastly, let's go over the oil. So oil is basically creating the hidden breakaway gap because of this huge wick that we are seeing right now. It's gonna look like FEG, but it's actually a hidden gap because on the lower time frames this wick is displaying bullish order flow to the upper side, and retracement this deep towards this monthly FEG/breakaway gap will be a really bad sign for bullish scenarios. Also, we are moving from the swing low that we swept, that I shared in the previous week's outlook. So we swept the swing low, and this is the area that we could eventually move higher from, and that's what we are doing right now. So from this swing low sweep, we are going towards the previous week high as a draw on liquidity. If you zoom in to the daily time frame, we also have the daily swing low sweep, bullish trend coming to the previous week high, no opposing resistances. This opposing resistance was flipped, so there is no trapped order flow. The price is free to move towards the previous week high. We have also created the daily breakaway gap and previous day low. Maybe with the market open we could get the sweep of the previous day low and fill of the daily breakaway gap in order to continue higher, or with the market open, depending if it's bullish or bearish, we can maybe eventually see just the begging upside towards the previous day high and then towards the previous month high. So these are the next levels that I'm aiming for in the upcoming week. So yeah guys, that will be it from this outlook. Safe trading next week and enjoy. You can check the version of the text version of this trade breakdown on my Twitter. You have the link in bio. See ya.